I've never watched it before. I've only really watched, I think, 2020 fully and a few here and there from older times. But without further ado, let's get into this. And a little bit while it's going on, I'll just say one last thing. I will be not doing this blind because my recording got, I was about to say corrupted, but it just got ripped to shreds, basically, for a really BS reason.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
And
we hope you're ready to take the plunge
with
no
us
as
ads,
diving makes its return to the
right at
Marble
the
League
end,
for the first time
infuriated
since
the crap out of me.
2016. Hey everybody,
Gotta redo it.
I'm Greg Woods. Welcome. This is an event that back
So I
in
know
2016 was
event.
won by Mellow Yellow, which, oh by the way, have just happened to win the last two events in this year's Marble League, up 3 spots to 3rd place in the overall standings. Boy, if there's a time to peak, it's getting into that period
And
right
the
now.
camera angles,
If you're wondering
I wouldn't
how
say the
this
camera angles
event
themselves
works,
are bad,
you
it's just
see
the fact that it's
bullseyes
too quick.
down on the bottom of the tank.
You can't see until they slow
Obviously,
it down.
in diving,
Even then it's hard.
synchronicity is a big part of it,
They would need
but
to
it's
do it
where
like
you land on
5
that
frames a
bullseye
second
that makes
in order
a
for you to
difference
actually see it
for your
properly.
score. Obviously, if you're really out of sync, you're going to lose points regardless.
So white
But
is
if you land
white is
in
1,
white, that's
blue
worth
is
1 point,
2,
all the
yellow
way
is
up to
3,
5 points if you
and
land
red is a
in the
5.
middle. You'll
And
see it
apparently,
color-coded
I didn't actually
down
see
there
this,
in the
but
example run from the
you
yellow
want to
people.
land all at the
who
same time,
put
and
up not a bad
for
score,
the
just
gap
slightly
between
off
first and last
on
person to
their
land,
sync.
that points will be taken away.
And this one, you're
enough.
diving, not really sinking. Don't let that confuse you. Regardless, as we get ready here, Mellow Yellow won that event in 2016. Oceanics were 2nd back then, and Limers were 3rd. This team, 8th. Down they come, and they spread out wide. This will be a good view as they drop on in. Nobody terribly close
Spread
to
out a
the
little near the
bullseye.
top.
Boy, they really have to slow it down
2-2,
there.
1-2.
3 of them, boy, they were in sync the whole way.
Yeah, he veered off to
Slightly
the
out of
right.
position on that 2nd marble from the top.
Decent.
But you can see mostly blues, which get them 2 points.
Probably did about average. I would
Minty
say.
Maniacs. They drop on through a high bounce from that 3rd marble. And as they come on in, several of them, I think, missed the, at least one of them missed the white altogether. This is the better view for it. And a 0 down there, 4.76.
You see the scores before you can even really see where they landed. So
Quarter of a
fast.
point out of sync. Here are those bronze medalists. That was their very first Marble League medal ever back then.
I feel like they
And that was an
kinda spread out
okay
there.
entry.
Actually, kind of grouped up near the end.
Ooh, and just a
And
little
bumped into
bit
each
off.
other at
Just
the
2
end.
1-pointers out there. 0.16 the deduction
Glaciers.
for being slightly out of sync.
They need a
Overall, a
decent finisher to come
respectable
back up.
result. Here are the gliding glaciers, and boy, their entry point
2 of them got like stuck
and a
in the
couple of the
middle
contact
in
look
there.
pretty good. Yes, they've got a bullseye from that 3rd marble.
And we're back. I knew there was going to be an ad that's going to pop up. This time it was pretty early on, and I have a bad feeling I'm going to have 2 ads. Because originally I had no ads, and now I'm going to have 2 ads. And yeah, recording today has been a nightmare, especially since I have a long work shift ahead of me. I only recorded this because it was a good environment, and now I'm super triggered. And back to what I was saying, because the ad cut it out. I'm surprised that like you don't have to hit your own target. You can you can go off to one side and both can hit 1. It seems like it would be like maybe not like a dequalification, but like one of the points wouldn't count for that.
Is the mark to beat from the gliding glaciers. Crazy cat's eyes up now. And that looked very in sync coming through. And good positioning, landing on the bullseyes as
solid.
well. Oh, they were a bit off where? You can see those bottom 2 marbles from our view getting ever so close together in midair. 3 threes
Both the past
on
2
the board. These judges
Form.
are holding nothing back. They expect perfection here. They want everybody to stay
Looks
roughly
solid.
equidistant apart in the air.
New record.
Oh, and look at this! A
2014, that team had never even
12.76! And that breaks the old record, gotta go back a ways, held by the Purple Rockets, a team that comes from the Stardust Classic, if you're a student of history of the sport, with Team Galactic and the Solar Flares. Wow! Well, there you go. And that was also a pretty good jump, at least by those couple of
pretty
camera
solid.
angles. Ooh, 11.60,
really good.
it is just shy. Big deduction, though.
They're probably
See
second.
getting out of sorts, and especially where they finish once they're in the water there, that can sometimes be indicative of the path that they took through the air, or in some cases through the water. Chocolatiers come in now, and they were splayed all over the place by the time they hit the bullseyes. They were very synchronized, entering the water just slightly out of
Seemed like they were more out of sync than .16.
But once they actually got into the water, that's where things started to unravel a little bit for them. So Shining Swarm
Hazers did really good
have the
having the
lead
most
with a Marble League record 12.76. That's with nearly a quarter of a point deduction. That is saying something. This is really a sport that overloads the mind in a lot of ways. Not only do you have the bounce there and the entry into the water, then you have to quickly get your bearings about you and seek out those targets on the bottom of the tank.
Two were close, but yeah, two missed.
You miss any one of those steps like the O'Rangers have here. They focused a bit too much on being in sync.
The one on top looked like
and lost it by the time they got down to the targets. 2 goose eggs on the board.
Easy finish.
Thunderbolts come through now in run 10 of 16.
They kind of grouped up near the end.
You get one attempt, and it better be a good one.
Up on top.
Well, they were well off. In fact, they had a collision after the water entry point for those top 2.
If they didn't have that, that would have been like 3-3-3.
Earn them no brownie points with their coach either. Indigo Stars up now. That was not a bad entry. Not the best landing, though. You can see them going in several different directions. Off the bounce, they're in a decent line there, and then they start to come together. The deduction not terrible for them. Problems were on the landing. Green Ducks now. What can they do? It's Green Ducks in a water event. The expectations are pretty high. Oh, but the score is not. 7.80. Highest that they got was a 3
the third
on the bullseyes, and then
2 of them hit it.
2/10 deduction on the synchronicity.
Fighting Nature still third.
So as we currently stand with just 4 to go, it's Shining Swarm, Hazers, and then Gliding Glaciers.
On the bottom, I think Minji's still going to be ahead, but only by a tiny bit.
So got to get above 10.84 if you hope to crack the podium and get a medal.
Yeah, they were, I think it's like 4 points ahead they were at the end.
Some of these teams that go very late have to be wondering
and Limers are still
what the different strategies are, because it's so much of this comes down to practice. There's very little that you can actually do once you are performing. All of the hours and hours of diving back and forth and having your technique watched and filmed sometimes all comes down to this.
Come alive in these recent events.
Mellow Yellow. 3 to go. Our former diving gold medalist. What do they do here? That looked like a good landing.
Top 2 on the top one.
Where does it shake out? Oh, 11.8. It puts them into second place. Mellow Yellow, even with that 2/10 deduction, did get a bullseye.
I didn't realize initially how many teams
as well
hit the same. Had 2 people hit the same target.
So now, Shining Swarm are going to be guaranteed a medal with just 2 runners left.
Solid.
And Raspberry Racers can't get it done. So it's going to be no worse than silver for the Shining Swarm.
Third one looked a bit peered off.
Mellow Yellow can get bronze at worst. What can Team Momo do? A team that came in 6th back in 2016.
That was off.
Oh, and that did not look like a coordinated landing at all onto the targets. A 1 and a 0 puts them in 12th, and it puts the gold medal squarely on the dive of the Shining Swarm. They
team,
are
along
your
with Indigo
gold
Stars, have done
medalists.
pretty well recently. Definitely come in as, like, I wouldn't say underdogs, but like average players have been doing above average.
That is the Shining Swarm's 2nd ever Marble League Gold. Here's how they got it done. Good recovery when they were just starting to get a little out of sync off the bounce. They recovered nicely, entered the water cleanly. You're also looking at that level of splash, sometimes 2.
Mellow Yellow 2nd, Hazers
third. My gosh, Mellow Yellow on the podium as well. That's practically their home now. They're loving that. They're comfortable as can be. And hey, another bronze, and excelling in a water event are the Hazers. Something we're also still getting used to with all of this. But hey, what a nice return to the Marble League this was.
My teams all did pretty well.
The
Fourth,
12.76
sixth, and
cleared the field
Definitely
easily
better than the past,
for the
like,
Shining
5
Swarm.
events.
Mellow Yellow get the silver, and
least for Rojo.
Hazers, the bronze, Gliding Glaciers, just off the podium. They're in 4th. How does this shake things around a bit? And we've got a new leader in the championship.
And it's
Perhaps
Mellow Yellow.
unsurprisingly, given their performance of late, Mellow Yellow vaults to the top, 3 clear of Momo. Raspberry Racers another 3 back. Then it's the Green Ducks up into 4th. Next up, the elimination race.
I kind of want to let him say the rest.
It's to the top 3.
Yeah, let's take a look here. So Mellow Yellow's at the top with 3 between them, Momo, and Raspberry Racers. So top 3 are super close. Then the jump to 4th is pretty big. Green Ducks, Savage Speeders went down 1. Thunderbolts are up 1, and they're at 13, which is 2 away from Speeders and 4 away from Green Ducks. All we're talking is 1 more limp from Green Ducks and Savage Speeders, and 1 decent result from Thunderbolts, and they're at 4th. We're talking a few medals, they're in 1st. Just like Mellow Yellow, gold, gold, silver, Thunderbolts could do the same thing. Gliding Glaciers up 1 by only 1 point over Crazy Cat's Eye. Brought up to 12th. I was really hoping they were going to do like 9th, but nope. Rojo Rollers gotten closer to Minty, but both Minty and Rojo Rollers very far from Limers. And both of them are out. Limers pretty much out. And any teams above that just have to book it hard. And even then, I think the 90s, even if you get... Yeah, 90s would have to get like gold in all 4. Or at least like 3 gold and a silver minimum. And the top ones would have to get bottom finishes. Hazers in the middle, Shining Swarm in the middle, Indigo Stars in the middle. Chocolatiers might be 10th, but that's honestly higher than I expected. Like, Rojo Rollers, Chocolatiers, Green Ducks, and Limers were the teams that I expected to be, like, the bottom group. And I was hoping for, like, one of the underdog teams to take it. I was hoping for it to be Rojo Rollers, but so far it seems like it's the Green Ducks that were, in my book, the underdog team that really came alive. And, or Rangers quite a bit down. It's definitely making things interesting, and I definitely would not expect a big shift in the last 4 events, and hopefully it's Thunderbolts. So I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.